dear friend, Congressman Case. Recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Fenton, we've all made reference, not all of us, but certainly the two of us have made reference to immediate needs funding restrictions now placed by FEMA on funding of disasters due to the shortfall in the disaster relief fund. And you testified that meant you would not be able to essentially obligate long-term funding recovery efforts and needed to move to immediate disaster-related stuff. And we obviously have a lot of disasters around the country. So what is the practical impact if we don't solve the DRF soon? What is going to be the practical impact to the Maui recovery from the restriction of immediate needs funding?
It delays long-term recovery. It delays rebuilding of infrastructure. We're unable to obligate the funding that's needed to rebuild permanent infrastructure. And so while we currently right now have sufficient funds to continue to help individuals with housing or other immediate needs, that too is starting to be threatened. So the impact is really to, we're at a very good stage right now with debris being removed, water coming on and power coming on to actually start rebuilding the infrastructure. And that will delay that process and elongate the recovery and impact Maui further.
Okay, thank you. And then switching to the subject of housing, because I think we would agree that this has been probably the most problematic part of the recovery is taking kind of FEMA's more continent-based approach to transitional housing and long-term recovery housing and trying to transpose that into a much different housing environment. Ms. Porter made reference to this. We have had many discussions along these lines, and you with the congressional delegation, and this is an area that we have on occasion disagreed on what the right path is. I think we're on a good path now, but I just want to make sure of some basic facts. If I understand correctly, and this comes from my staff's conversation with you of a few weeks ago, somewhere in the range of 4,300 households were eligible for transitional housing. The information that I think I got back from you through them was that somewhere in the range of 1,300 had actually requested assistance, that 1,300 is distributed in various ways, a direct lease program. Some of them found permanent solutions. The Kilohana Group site was referenced, and some of your smaller transitional housing that you are actually constructing. I guess, first of all, are the facts correct? And second, if those are correct, what did happen to the other 2,000 some odd? It seems a large number to me, looking at it today.
Yeah, so over 4,000 qualified what we call direct housing. That means they're a renter or owner and their home was destroyed by the fire. And then what happens is we conduct a pre-placement interview with each one of those 4,000 households. So these are households, not individuals' households. We conduct interviews with each one of them to understand what their needs are. A large number were able to secure housing. Some are insured and have ALE or LOU and use that insurance. Some were able to find other housing. And so those discussions, and sometimes as many as 10 discussions with an individual household, led us to 1,300 need some type of direct housing, meaning that we have no housing. We need help from the federal government to house us. The average in my region, Pacific or mainland, is usually less than 10%. So right now we're at about 32%, which is a higher than normal number, but I think well within the norm of what we see on other disasters.
Okay, so do you have any expectation? Is that number then pretty firm? Is that the universe we're dealing with? I guess the question I'm asking is it possible that some of the people who did not go into the transitional housing program would in fact still go into it in some way, shape, or form if the option was there? Or are they pretty much off your radar at this point, from this perspective at least?
There's been very few that have come back up that had a situation that's changed it. I would want to say in the single digits over the last couple of months. There are some right now whose ALE or LOUs being exhausted, and then what they're going into is our continuing housing assistance, where we provide them 175% of rental costs and help them continue to rent units there.
Okay, great. I also have a few more questions, but I will defer, Mr. Chair.
Gentleman yields back his time.